welcome back to a different kind of cozy corner. We're still going to go a cozy corner, but we're just in a different kind of corner. Instead of a beanbag, we're outside in the world, because I was filming some videos inside and I was like, you know what, it's looking sunny outside, I could see out the window, and I was like, yeah, no, we're going to get outside. So hopefully throughout spring and summer I'll try and do my book reviews outside for you guys, so hopefully you'll like that. So it's like a summer type of cozy corner rather than the winter cozy corner. Anyway, so today I'm going to be talking about Love Letters to the Dead by Ava Delaria. This book, oh dear guys, this book, I haven't done a review for a long time. And that is because I've been reading this book. It's not even that long, it's just over 300 pages long, and I really like the cover, it's very beautiful. I bought this book actually in Barnes & Noble when I was in New York, so I was super excited about it. However, I didn't find it the easiest book to get into or to enjoy or to read. Basically, it took me forever to read this book, like forever. And I feel like it's because, I'll try and explain the book first, that might help. So basically, it's about this girl called Laurel, whose sister has died. That's not a spoiler, it's, you know, whose sister's died, and she's kind of having trouble dealing with that, and she has a lot of family problems because of that. And then she has to start high school, which obviously is always problematic for everybody, or well, in books or so, and you know, that kind of high school problems and meeting new friends and dealing with things. Anyway, so she has to start high school on top of this, and then her English teacher assigns her an assignment to write a letter to a dead person, and she chooses Kurt Cobain. Now, this is what drew me into this book, because I love Kurt Cobain, I love Nirvana, and all this kind of thing, so I was super interested in this book because of that. And I will tell you this, that aspect of the book was my favourite part of the book, I think. Basically, she does write the letters to Kurt Cobain, but then she goes on to continue to write many, many more letters to many, many of the different famous dead people. For example, Amelia Earhart, Amy Winehouse, Jim Morrison, Judy Garland. There's loads of bunch of people who she writes letters to. I won't spoil them all for you, and all the people, I don't think there was anybody she wrote letters to who I didn't know of or that I didn't really like, so I was really excited about that, and to see kind of how she paralleled her situation with something they might have said at some point in their life and something they might have gone through, and it was really, really interesting to see that, and I really, really loved that about the book. So the whole story is told through letters, which one you'd think would make it faster to read, but definitely didn't do that for me. So it's all written through letters to these different famous people, and she, like for example Kurt Cobain, she writes to him very often, and I really liked that because, you know, I definitely do like him, and you get to find out little snippets of his life, some of which I obviously already knew being a fan of him, but then some things I learned that I didn't necessarily know, and definitely about the other people as well. So if you don't necessarily know the people she's writing to, I don't think that that will spoil the book for you. I just don't think you'll get as much out of it in that aspect as I did. So that was something that I definitely really enjoyed about the book, the people that she wrote to, and you know, finding out about them and her comparing the situation she's in to something they might have been through. However, I did find there was quite a few things I didn't like about the book. The main character, Laurel, I actually didn't mind. I liked her, even though it was very difficult because she's 15 years old at the present time in the book. And obviously I am 21, so it was a little bit hard to relate to her. I couldn't remember back to maybe starting high school and things like that. And so some of the things that she said I felt like seemed quite grown up, and I was like kind of like, okay. And then she'd say some things that were kind of really childish, and I was like, oh, okay. And I kind of never felt exactly sure, like if someone would have not told me her age and said what's her age, I wouldn't have been entirely sure. Like, I originally thought that she was a lot younger, and then I thought, well, she's now seeming older, and it was just kind of confusing, but she definitely seemed a young mind, and kind of very naive, and that kind of, I don't know, it just bothered me a little bit, kind of with the things, some things that she was doing. It definitely had that aspect to it that I've read a lot of teenage young adult books do this, where they kind of are finding themselves, and then they do the whole drinking thing and this and this and that, which I don't really mind. It's just kind of that bit of the book, that's in the start of the book, you know, when she meets her friends at school and she decides to drink and go to parties and do kind of stupid things. That always annoys me a bit, but I'm always able to kind of get past that because it's happened in books I really love. For example, Looking for Alaska, I love, and that kind of similar, that drinking when he gets to the boarding school thing happened in that book, but I was just like, okay, that bit, and then I got over it. In this one, it is a little bit more, what would you say, prominent, like it's a bit more throughout the book, but you know, I was still able to get past that. But she had these friends who I didn't really like. They were called Hannah and Natalie, and they weren't very nice people. I mean, I feel like they had reasons. Everybody in this book had a big problem in their life. There was nobody who was kind of like a happy general person. Everybody had like a big issue they were going on. This book dealt with so many issues, like I couldn't list them on my fingers. So many different issues, which in one way is a good thing, but in another way I feel like it took away from a lot of the issues because it was dealing with so much. There was always so much being thrown at us, and some of the things actually I felt were really uncomfortable, and I thought that's why it took me a really long time to read, because some of the bits I don't know, it didn't deal with it in the best way. A lot of people compared this book to Perks Being a Wallflower, which I love, by the way, and I can kind of see why, because it definitely deals with a lot of the same issues, if not all of the issues in Perks Being a Wallflower that are dealt with are in this book, in some kind of similar way or another, and it is kind of very much a similar, like, I don't know, the storyline kind of is similar and definitely deals with a lot of the same problems, if not all the same problems in Perks Being a Wallflower, but I definitely feel that Perks Being a Wallflower does it tons better than this book does. This book just didn't, I just felt like it didn't do it that well. It kind of made me feel awkward and uncomfortable at certain points, which I didn't like, so obviously it made me really slow reading it. However, I will say this, there was points in the book that I was reading and I was like, you know, should I continue with the book? And then I would continue, because I did like that it broke it up between the different people she was talking to. That kind of kept me reading and kept me going. And I am glad that I did, actually, because the last 20 pages I actually kind of really enjoyed. I liked the way this book was summed up and the way the book was ended, so I'm definitely glad that I finished it. And so I was originally going to give it a 2.5. because I didn't hate it, I just personally didn't love it and I wasn't enjoying reading it as much. But there was definitely some things said in this book that I did enjoy, and the character of Tristan, I really liked his character. Some of the things he said I felt like were really important and kind of kept in my mind, and I really enjoyed some of the moments he and Laurel had where he was talking to her because he was older than her, and some things that he said were really wonderful, and I really liked his character, so that was great. Anyway, so the end of the book I definitely did really enjoy. I liked the way it wrapped things up, and I was kind of happy at the end of the book. I was like, oh, I kind of felt pleased, I liked how it ended, and I don't know, I felt good about the end of the book. So I ended up giving it 3 stars because I didn't absolutely hate it. I just kind of feel like I was really angry at some points, but then I got it made up for it in some little ways, but not enough to gain any more stars than 3. But yeah, I liked the way it was written. I just don't think it was the best. I wouldn't, if you haven't read Perks Being a Wallflower, read Perks Being a Wallflower. But I don't really like to compare the two, but everybody does it, and even Stephen Chbosky, who's written Perks Being a Wallflower, blurbed on the front, and I believe he kind of helped her and spoke to her, I don't know. Anyway, so overall, it was okay, but it wasn't, I didn't have the best time reading it, and it's kind of slow, but I'm still glad I read it, because I actually liked some of the messages in this book, from Tristan and from the end of the book, so I was happy about that. So yeah, let me know if you guys have read Love Letters to the Dead down in the comments below. Let me know if you like this outside kind of thing, and I will see you guys next time in my next Cozy Corner review, which should be very much sooner, because this book just took me a lot of ages to read, and I was just like, oh, didn't really want to pick it up, but now I'm back onto my reading tracks, so I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching, goodbye!